Hi, my name's Christopher Anatra. I'm the CEO and president of NECS Incorporated. Today, I am sitting down with Ed Zimmerman from the Food Connector. This is going to be our podcast number 002. So in a way, Ed's making some history with us today, being on a second podcast. And Ed, before we begin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Chris, thanks for inviting me today. Ed Zimmerman, the company is the Food Connector. We do marketing services for food manufacturers and food distributors, typically on the independent side. I started my career back in the mid-'70s cleaning tables in a restaurant, and I did a good job and kept moving up. But it's really true. I was able to get promoted inside of restaurants and wound up working in a kitchen, being a kitchen manager, front of the house, and then left. I was in the grocery business for 5 years. I helped start the country's first all-natural bakery. We were the company that was really, we were credited with really commercializing carrot cake, and did that for about 13 years. And when I actually ran the bakery for the first 6 years, I had a big fight with my boss one day and said, I make the best cake in the world at 1.5% under targeted cost, and we lose money because you have idiots running the sales side of the business. And that's how I got into sales. And, but I was right. We did have idiots running that side of the business. And we went from about $6 million a year to $28 million a year in 4 years. And then we sold to a conglomerate. I moved on. I did consulting work for about 5 years. And then started a food service buying group that's still operating today. And about 20 years ago, started my company. And what I kept seeing along the way were all of these small and mid-sized food companies that had some differentiated product or service, but didn't really know how to grow. They didn't really know how to leverage marketing. And like many of us in the food business, just said, well, if I just get up half an hour earlier tomorrow, all will be well in my world. Once you get to about hour 18, though, that argument really falls away. So it really is about working smarter, not harder. And that's what my company does. Is we design marketing plans, we execute them, and we work with about 40 companies around the country, all in the food service side of the business.
So your company name is called the Food Connector. And where are you based out of?
We are just north of San Francisco. Most of our team is in California, but we've got people around the country. But we work nationally.
So we're doing this podcast the end of December of 2020, and I know your area of the country is definitely, been being hard hit with the restaurant industry. So is there anything about that you want to mention from your
Well, it's really frustrating. I mean, all of us that service the restaurant industry have watched our customers, our friends, just have their businesses shut down, locked down, closed down, restrictions put on them. Many of them have pivoted, the word of the year, and to carry out or third party, and have been doing okay. About 2 weeks ago, the governor here put out a new mandate that even outdoor dining is no longer permissible. So you can walk up to a sandwich shop, you can place an order, they can hand you a sandwich, you can go and sit on the curb and eat that sandwich, but the restaurant cannot put a table and chair there for you to sit there. So the rules are arbitrary, they are not science-based. There are restaurant companies here who have spent tens of thousands of dollars to create outdoor seating spaces to get through the winter in our mild weather, and they can't use them. And again, it's arbitrary, it's devastating, and it's immensely unfair.
It is, and I'll tell you, in Connecticut, it's not that bad. Connecticut is where NECS is located, but it's still very strict. And I'll tell you, I am missing going out to my favorite restaurants. And a lot of them have pivoted to the takeout only, but it's still just not quite the same. And then you're dealing with all the plastic and all the trash and everything that's generated from that as well. So something seems to be off with all this. So food
Well,
distributors.
if you look at the restaurant industry over the last 40 years, it's grown to be roughly 50% of share of stomach, um, because people are time stressed. Two income family really generated the idea that people had more money than time. So eating in restaurants became much more viable. But we do it because we love it. It's fun.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like going out to dinner on a Friday or Saturday night with another couple or some friends, and having someone bring you food and clean up after and have a marvelous meal. And most of us are pretty happy to pay for that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know I am. And I can't wait till things can get back into that mode where we can actually
That's
go
right.
back to a restaurant, sit down and have a nice meal and enjoy it. So with all of these challenges, so we're looking ahead to the year 2021, all of these challenges that we've been through in 2020, probably going to continue at least some part through 2021. How do you think a distributor should market themselves in this upcoming year?
Sure. I've been working with food service distributors for 30 plus years, and listen, we know the truth about the business. It's You get new customers by a sales rep walking in the back door and saying, "Hey, is the chef around? Hey, chef, I know you use Cisco or US Foods or PFG, but there's got to be 4 or 5 items that they've disappointed you on. Why don't you let me know what they are? Let me give you a quote, and I'll come back next week and let's sit down and talk about it." And that's how the business has run, and it's worked. Um, Today, that back door is closed and locked, and if you got in, you would immediately be thrown out because of social distancing. As we just said, the front door is also locked. So the only door that's open is the digital door. And that's what we've been doing with our distributor customers, is helping them revamp all of their digital marketing, whether it's e-promotions or social media management, or converting the 168-page downloadable PDF to a searchable digital catalog. And of course, Chris, the work that you do with NECS with having a catalog is just perfect hand in glove, for having that be able to be searchable, promote specific items, and have customers be able to come in, request a quote, and really do what the old days of walking in the back door has been able to do.
So from you saying that, I'm getting the impression that marketing now is more important than ever.
It really is. I mean, the change that's happened for the consumer um, isn't so phenomenal that people have moved to buying online. It's just quickened the pace. These changes have been, happening for many years, and so for the chef or the food service manager or whoever is placing the orders and doing the purchasing in a restaurant or a hotel, they've been toying with online. Many of the corporate distributors and a lot of independent distributors have online ordering, but it hasn't been a requirement. It's been a nice to have. And again, it's that the consumer has changed on a permanent basis, and so have restaurant buyers. There's no going back to normal when this is all over. People have learned the convenience of being able to shop at their when it's convenient for them, not just, well, my DSR gets here Tuesday at 2 and I make 15 minutes for that person. They can do it on their timeline. They can do it and look at pricing. They can look at items that are on sale, that are being promoted. The so much of what's happened in this pivot is restaurants shrinking down menus. If you had 40 entrees, you might now only have 10 because you want to have less people in the kitchen, and not all items travel so well. So if a buyer has the ability to see items that are on sale or being promoted, or new items that can be used in multiple recipes and reduce the number of SKUs, that's a wonderful thing. I mean, business today is very difficult to forecast demand. So again, if you can have less inventory, use an item in multiple recipes, it's just a better way for them to go to market. And And I think that promoting to them digitally with those ideas really makes their life easier. I always say for a restaurant buyer, if you can't make their life easier or reduce their cost, you really can't help them.
Gotcha. So with all that said, like what kind of tools are you recommending, to help food distributors market?
Sure. So there's a number of things that we've done. We're big fans of doing electronic promotions, e-promos, sent out to a database. We find that to be the number one most effective way of reaching a large number of customers and prospects in an inexpensive way, and people react to them. You pick 3 or 4 or 5 items in a month. That's it. Just a couple of things for them to look at and focus on. Maybe a produce item, maybe a frozen item, maybe 1 or 2 non-foods, particularly for carry out or sanitation, PPE. We send those out with some attractive pricing or $2 off a case, and those things are winning. But we're also we're doing a lot with social media management. When people say, well, restaurants aren't on Facebook. Yes, they are. They're very much on Facebook because they're promoting their restaurants on Facebook. And look, let's be honest. Most chefs want to be they want to be the next digital chef. They want to be they want to promote their careers. They want to show their tattoos and they're on there. So we find that a really effective tool. We also see Instagram working very well. Again, in the reduced staffing and reduced revenue era, people don't have so much time. If they're looking for menu ideas and scrolling through Instagram and they see a new item, a barbecue chicken sandwich, promoted by ABC distributor, it's giving them ideas and then driving them back into the website where they can look at items that are being promoted.
Okay.
We certainly find LinkedIn working for more corporate types of restaurants, chains, hotels. Again, let's face it, people are managing their career today because of the uncertainty. If you've been in a restaurant for 5 years or 10 years, there is no certainty that you're going to have that job a year from now. So we see more and more of the professional buyers on LinkedIn managing their careers, keeping their eyes open for opportunities. And we're posting promotions for distributors on LinkedIn and gaining leads. It's all about leads. I mean, that's the business we're in. It's building brand awareness and generating leads.
That's really interesting. So if you were to help one of our clients, one of our distributors that's using our software, gathering that you can help them with their social media presence, you can help them with leads. Is there anything more specific as well that you'd want to add to that? Is what you can help them with?
One of the first things that we do when we usually engage in a client is assemble a database. And
Okay.
Chris, I can't tell you how often we start with a new distributor and we say, "Do you have a database?" "No, we really don't." They really do. They have a customer database in your system or whatever system they're using, for doing invoicing. They've got leads that may have been business cards that are sitting in somebody's desk. Trade shows. All of the sales reps have a tremendous amount of prospects, and again, speaking candidly, they don't always turn them over because they want to keep those close. But what we've been able to work with DSRs with is the idea that if you give us your leads, your prospects, we're going to promote to them 2 or 3 or 4 times a month, whereas you can really only make a cold call once a month. So particularly for those ones that are more the long-term prospects that you just want to keep in touch with, if we're constantly sending out offers or something promoting the company that they work for, that's that slow burn in the background that just keeps that name top of mind. And it's not always easy to convert a customer. We're all creatures of habit, and if you're working with a distributor and they've got the right products and the delivery day works and the driver knows where to put the produce when they come in. Those are all really important parts of the relationship. But every distributor stubs their toe, and when their incumbent distributor stubs the toe and says, you know what, that's it. This company's disappointed me for the last time. Who else can we call? Those 45 touches that we've had over the last 18 months, they say, what about those ABC distributor? Let's give them a call.
Right.
And in that moment of truth, that's really where you want to be. You want to be top of mind for that moment.
Right. That's all really good. That's all really positive. Got to keep those leads coming in and keep cultivating that business. Now, you mentioned you have about 40 clients right now that are food distributors, probably in different parts of the country. Do you see anything that's different from maybe a distributor in California versus a distributor in Florida versus Chicago? The rate of like how busy some are versus how much things have slowed down for others? Do you see any patterns there?
Well, I mean, it's definitely regional. I mean, I live in Northern California. We had been doing much better than Southern California up until about 2 weeks ago. So, to just say, state by state, it really is region by region. What we do see, and I grew up in the East. I moved out west about 25 years ago, partially because my business has always been a blend of food and technology. And what has been true for a long time is food trends move west to east in this country. They generally start out west and eventually move east.
Right.
And we see a quicker pace in the west of companies moving to some newer items, whether those are green or sustainable or gluten-free or those types of attributes that are becoming more and more important to customers. So that we see, and in terms of just regional revenue differences, that's weather related more than anything else right now. To say the East, restaurant sales in Maine are not what restaurant sales in Florida are, and partially it's weather, partially it's legislation. Florida's pretty open. It's kind of business as usual there. So that's what's really making the changes.
Okay. So if you were to like look ahead into the future of possible timelines for 2021, what do you think is going to realistically happen from the beginning of the year, maybe towards the end of the year? From your point of view, we won't hold you to it, but just from your point of view, what do you?
I'm on the record. I'm on the record, Chris. My personal belief is we're going to be till about June or July before there's enough people vaccinated that we're going to start to see some of these regulations peel back. It just takes a tremendous amount of time to vaccinate 300 million people, and most of these vaccinations require 2 anyway. So I think it's going to be June or July until we start seeing some sort of a return to normal buying patterns. Notice I didn't say normal. And
somewhat normal.
And the weather of course will play an effect there. It will be in warmer weather there. My belief is there's tremendous pent up demand for restaurant meals. My wife is a magnificent cook and she loves to cook. She's also tired of cooking dinner every single night, and I don't think we're alone in that. There's a reason that restaurants exist. It's a pleasurable event. People like to do that, and I think there's a lot of pent up demand. We're also going to see, we had prior to COVID, roughly 900,000 commercial food service locations in the United States. That's going to get reduced down to, 700,000 just as a number. So if you have similar amount of demand at 200,000 less locations, that means that every location on average will be busier. That's good for restaurants. That's good for food service distributors.
Right.
And I think that COVID or not, I think we've had too many restaurant seats for a long time. Chains have overexpanded. I think that the third-party delivery, again, even before COVID, was peeling off, more and more business. So I don't know what the right number of restaurants is for the country, but I feel pretty confident that 900,000 was too many. So I think we're going to move into an age of a better time for restaurants after this horrendous period, um, and something positive to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. We all need something positive to look forward to. And I agree with you too. It's probably going to be, into next year. And then they talk about new strains, and then the current vaccine may not be good against the new strains and all. So yeah, things are very topsy-turvy right now. But the bottom line is that, people don't like restrictions. Like nobody likes to be, locked down. We enjoy our freedoms. That's why we love this country. We enjoy these freedoms. And then when things become like they are now, we get very, very frustrated. I know I'm very frustrated with things.
Yeah.
Extremely frustrated.
No, that's right. And there's been comparison about how the United States fared against COVID versus some other countries. China got a handle on it very quickly because they mandated we're shutting every single business in the country, and you are staying home for 4 weeks. Period. End of discussion. And because of the nature of their society and the nature of the Chinese as a people and culturally, they just accepted that and stayed home.
Yeah, they've been wearing masks for years. Like I
That's
remember,
right.
5-10 years ago, they've been wearing masks since the swine flu and all the other
That's right.
bad pandemics. Yeah, exactly.
We Americans, we had our inner cowboy, going, and we don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah, yeah. So I was going to say that I just really enjoyed, this conversation with you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask you in conclusion to how can our customers reach you? What's the best way for them to reach out and learn more about the Food Connector?
Sure. Our website is www.thefoodconnector.com. I am E. Zimmerman at thefoodconnector.com. Office line is 415-785-8539. But we love the opportunity to work with more distributors. We're helping them. We're helping them through this period. And our team is all food service veterans. We know what we're doing. We like to work with distributors, with independents, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We're really part of the team. We do bi-weekly calls generally, and love the opportunity to work with you and help you grow your business.
That's great. And I'll put those links in the description area below this video as well for anyone that wants to reach out. If they tell them that NECS, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. If if someone contacts you and they tell you that NECS sent you, do you have any kind of special packages that you'll be providing?
Well, you really are putting me on the spot. There are definitely some things that we can do. Oftentimes we have a learning period, an engagement period,
Okay.
where we learn about the business. I come from a consulting background, and we used to charge for doing consulting, give beautiful plans, and then walk away. When I started the Food Connector, the idea was give people a plan and then sell them the execution. But we do have some engagement fees. I'm willing to forego those if you call and say NECS rocks.
Oh, I like that. Okay, cool. And your rates are very, like, I've seen some of the thing. Your rates are very reasonable to begin with. So
I've been in the food industry my whole life. We don't need to be told, well, the margins here aren't very good. We've always believed in keeping our rates down, making it really affordable for an independent food distributor to call us and work with us, much cheaper than having a full-time person. And we just believe in that. We'd rather have a long relationship, and you do that by providing value, and part of value is what you charge. So thanks for saying that.
Yeah. Well, Ed, thank you very much for this time. And I'm sure our clients will find our little conversation interesting and they get to know you a little bit more before they reach out and talk to you, and be able to appreciate all the wisdom you have from being in the
Thank
industry
you,
for
Chris.
so many years. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciated the time as well.